How does Islam Makhachev actually do against the welterweight best? That's what we're going to be doing in this video, man. I'm going to look at the top 10 ranked welterweights in the UFC, and I'm going to compare them stylistically and just see how they do against Islam Makhachev. Now, when I was going through the top 10 at welterweight chat, I was like, some of these matchups, like not even in the top 5, but some of these matchups are like, they're interesting, man. I feel as if like a lot of these matchups are like sometimes even closer than we think. And I feel like there's some fights where I feel like people think Islam, oh, he's going to roll through this guy. But it's a little bit more competitive. So we're going to talk about that in this video. I will say, brother, this guy's a real bad man. Let's be real, though. This guy, you know, when it comes to double champ, it's very plausible for someone like Islam Makhachev to go up. And the fact that 155, there's so many he said, she said, we don't really know what's going on. I actually hope, I don't want to say I hope JDM wins against Bilal, because I'm a really big Bilal guy, but I listen, if you can't think of anything at 155, just go up to 170. So whatever happens below JDM fight, brother, Dale, we roll with the punches. But let's get into the top 10 ranked welterweights and like how Islam does against him. Starting off pretty strong, the number 10 ranked guys. We got Jeff Neal. Now, he's solid, bro. I said Islam will have the striking advantage, but the pocket exchanges, that's what you really have to be worried about with Jeff Neal. And then his takedown defense. Bilal Muhammad went 0 for 7 when he got beat up by Jeff Neal. Like 0 for 7, which is kind of why Bilal was getting the beats on him like Dr. Dre in that fight. Bilal has improved since then, and his wrestling probably has improved as well. Bilal wasn't as big. If you guys look at Bilal's size and strength now compared to how he was when he fought Neal, you're going to notice a vast difference. But I do think stuffing all 7 of Bilal Muhammad's takedowns is impressive. Like, I don't care who you are, bro. Like, you got to be real strong. Like, he's strong as hell. A lot of welterweights are going to be strong compared to Islam, and I know this. But as far as just the striking, I feel as if Jeff Neal, as of lately, has been a little bit hesitant, like in his striking style, in contrast to how he was back in the day. So I feel like now it's going to be a little bit more comfortable for Islam to go in against a challenge like this. You know, I think Islam is going to have to use some of that striking, that counter striking specifically that he's known for. I think Jeff Neal is going to do a good job on the pressure and like bringing the pace to Islam, but I feel like Islam's not going to have a horrible trouble against Neal, because Neal's not known for absurd pressure. Like, there's fighters who are known for like crazy, oh yeah, I'm in your face 24/7. That's not what Jeff Neal's known for, so I'm not really as worried as that as most people in welterweight that will be. But I will say Islam Makhachev will still need to mix it up. I know that Bilal went 0 for 7, but even if Islam's not taking him down, I think like what Islam does a good job doing, he does a good job like entering the clinch and hitting you in the body with the knee or something and then exiting. Stuff like that. He just needs to mix it up, give Neal different looks. Islam's really good at a little feinting low. You just get Neal thinking of takedowns. It's going to open up Islam striking. So I see Islam by decision, but I'm going to say mid difficulty. So he's going to have to go through some adversity. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Can he finish Neal? Like, I know Shafka finished Neal, but Shafka's style is a little bit different. Shafka was kind of like marauder maxing forward. Islam's a little bit more patient in those exchanges. So this, honestly, even though he's number 10, like I feel like people think, oh, he's going to run through Neal. It'd be a little bit more difficult than that, trust me, guys. But I do think stylistically, his striking advantage is going to give him the advantage here. He has good body kicks now, good head kicks he's developing. Whereas I feel like Neal's primary a boxer, and yes, the pocket exchanges are dangerous, but Islam's not the type to sit in the pocket and just trade with you. Like, Islam will get out. Islam hates the pocket for the most part. Not hates it, but when he is in the pocket, instead of like ducking and throwing, he'll prefer to grab your head and like hit you with a clinch knee or something. Like, he's not the type to sit in the pocket and just trade. If he was, bro, like, this is not the guy to do it with, because you will get chinned. But I will say Islam by decision, mid difficulty overall, because I do think he's better than Neal and he can get it done against Neal. So that's a comfortable pick. I'm not worried too much about a Jeff Neal fight. Now the number 9 spot we have Colby Covington. Islam's better everywhere. I think he masterclasses him. Like, Colby at this point of his career is just not where he needs to be. Colby back in the day, this is a different story. If we're talking about 2019 Colby, see, this could be a loss for Islam. You know, I'm just saying, like, but the Colby today, bro, what he's known for being his volume, just the fact that he doesn't have that anymore, it's almost like Colby's a non-threat now. Not only his lack of volume, chat, but I swear his fight IQ has went down the drain. I feel like as fighters age, they think shit's just roses and bubbles. Like, they go in there, oh, I'm a good wrestler, I'm going to go shoot a telegraph takedown. He's not going to take down Islam once in this fight. If he wrestles the same way he wrestled against Buckley, 0% chance he takes down Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev's too good at scrambling, wizarding. He's too good at getting out of positions like that. That being said, I see Islam just putting the beats on him like Dr. Dre on the feet, and then the grappling, he's going to out-scramble him. He's going to take down Colby. I don't think Colby's going to land a single takedown on Islam Makhachev. Because Kobe, what made his takedown so effective back in the day wasn't because he was brute strength maxing and just so strong he took everyone down. It's that he would do things where he would like go mad volume out, and then he'll shoot a takedown, and then he'll score. But the fact that he doesn't do that anymore, I just can't jack it. I'm not jacking that. Like, oh yeah, he's going to go in there and take down Islam and just put the pressure on him. That pressure is now non-existent, and I just think Islam's going to be too smart in his IQ, and he's just going to be better everywhere. I don't know if he's going to finish Kobe, but even if he doesn't, it's going to be a masterclass. Like, after that performance, we're going to be like, damn, Islam's really that guy. So I know Kobe's number 9, so it's not like some kind of hoorah, but I'm telling you right now, he would actually cook Kobe to an extent that most people would be like, what was even the point of this fight getting booked? So Kobe's just at that point of his career. I think he could walk away. This is my honest opinion. He's not a horrible fighter. It's just that Islam Makhachev is better. He's just better everywhere. I don't think Kobe could beat him in anything today. Brother, golf, tennis, brother, wrestling, MMA, boxing. Doesn't matter, brother. Come here, brother. Come here. We beat you everywhere. And I like Kobe. I liked Kobe. I don't want to say I'd hate him now, but it's just that, like, what is he doing, dude? Like, maybe he should just be a streamer. I think he likes streaming. So, yeah, Islam's going to put the beats on us, Kobe Covington, too easy. Going into the number 8 ranked guy, we got Gilbert Burns. This is another guy who, like, maybe in his prime would have given Islam some kind of a questionable time. Maybe it would have hurt or dropped Islam. But now Islam will comfortably counter-strike at Burns style. Now, when I say Burns style, guys, Burns does something where he kind of leaps into like overhands and then he's out. Burns doesn't really double anything up or triple anything or quadruple anything up, and that's what you need to do to be able to have a chance against Islam in the striking. You can't just throw one punch at a time and hope to land on Islam, because 9 times out of 10 that's just not landing. So Burns' little like overhand blitzing style, like he's quick, don't get me wrong, or he was probably quicker in his prime, but now it's going to be too telegraphed. Islam's going to get out the way, boom, 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 he's going to counter punch him to an oblivion. And I think Islam will mix it up. I understand the threat that Gilbert Burns, oh man, Kenny, he's the best BJJ practitioner in the world. Brother, be careful what you say. I know this guy good, brother, but he will get taken down by Islam. Islam knows what to do on the ground. Islam's not new to dangerous BJJ practitioners. If Islam was scared of BJJ practitioners, he would have dropped Charles and did a Dustin Poirier, a Justin Gaethje, and Michael Chandler and be like, get up, man, I'm not jumping on the ground. Like, Islam is just not, you can't do that with Islam. Like Burns, if he gets hurt, he can get finished. So I have Islam by decision or TKO. I can see him like hurting Burns and jumping on him and finishing him. Burns' chin's a little bit suspect too. Like I feel like Burns, like I'm not saying he can't take a shot, but Burns gets hit and is like, brother, I don't like this, brother. And then like, he kind of crumbles a little bit. He's like a Whitaker at 170, except he's just nowhere near as skilled as Whitaker in the striking, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just feel like Burns won't be sufficient anywhere. It's going to be kind of a comfortable win for Islam Makhachev. So Islam versus Burns, maybe in 2019, bro, 2020, it could have been interesting. But I'm sorry, 2025, Islam beats him up so bad, the footage will be deleted after the fact. So that's so far so good. So far, Jeff Neal's the hardest fight, and he's the number 10 ranked, which is kind of crazy. It's not really crazy if you actually know Jeff Neal, but none of them are gonna beat Islam. But it's just like Jeff Neal so far is the hardest. Let's see if we get anyone harder, man. Because number 7, we got Ian Gary, and I also feel like he's gonna be mid difficulty. And I feel like people don't understand that this would actually kind of be somewhat of a challenge for Islam. I think people think, oh, Islam's gonna go in there and wreck him. Islam will have a hard time closing the distance. Now, guys, Ian Gary's 6'3". I know people don't really think about height and reach, but Islam's tallest opponent was Dan Hooker, who's like just about 6 feet. He just took him down at ease and stuff. Dan Hooker doesn't really have grappling, all right? And then like even like Renato Moicano's 5'11". He's not that tall, but he is like 5'11's decent size. He was taller than Islam, kind of lengthy. And Islam on the feet, he didn't look uncomfortable, but it looked like he was a little bit. It was harder for him to close the distance because what Renato Moicano was doing a good job was hand fighting initially. And the hand fighting was kind of disrupting Islam's rhythm. He was trying to find his timing, but he couldn't really do it. Now, 5'11 and 6'3", like they're different. Like they're vastly different. So I feel as if closing the distance for Islam is not going to be the walk in the park that a lot of people think it's going to be. And I think Gary will utilize his range in this fight. I think he's going to use his leg kicks a lot. Like, he's pretty good at his low leg kick, man. Like, he would throw a kick at you, keep you at distance, oblique kick you, like, push you away. And that could be a problem. Like, there's literally a world that, like, if Islam just doesn't want to close the distance, he could just get appointed. So he knows he needs to close the distance. And I think the best way to do that is to, like, use some of his feints and utilize his clinch and grappling and entries in the wrestling attempts. You could take down Ian Gary. I know Ian Gary has great BJJ. Ian Gary's grappling is actually slept on. It's not bad, but he's not on the level of Islam Makhachev. And I do think Islam Makhachev is going to have a good time controlling him with his physical frame because he is 6'3", but that just makes him a little bit more controllable. Like, it's easier to control guys on the ground who are, like, lanky if you have, like, heavy hips and, like, heavy back, just like Islam. Taking them down is not necessarily easy, though. Against the fence specifically, He's going to be hard time to take down Gary, because if Gary knows how to defend well as a long, lengthy guy, he'll do a good job defending. But I do think Islam's strength when he gets up to a 170 will help him in a fight like this. But I do got Islam by decision or sub, and I said mid difficulty. So I think this is going to be a little bit more difficult than the fight with Jeff Neal. So far, this is going to be his most difficult challenge, and it's just because the size and the range of Ian Gary. And also, yeah, Ian Gary, like, he's not a horrible grappler, because like he does have some BJJ, so I feel like even when Islam gets him on the ground, Islam got to be careful with the long limbs and not to get caught in a weird position like Shafka got reversed, got put in a rear naked choke, almost went out, you know. So just be careful with Gary. Like, I know people, oh, Gary sucks. Gary's actually really good, and I think when he beats Carlos Prates this weekend, you're gonna understand what I mean. But Islam versus Gary will be interesting in that sense, but I still think Islam overall, just he'll mid diff him. It'll be mid, but he'll get him out of there. If he doesn't get him out of there, he'll go the distance, and Ian Gary be like, I was so close, I could have got him. Fucking hell, bro, get the hell on. But yeah, next matchup is a number 6 ranked. If you didn't know who that is, it is Joaquin Buckley. Now Joaquin Buckley, like, people have Buckley's not bad. But stylistically for Islam, I see Islam having like a more comfortable time maybe than other people think. I did say it's still going to be mid difficulty, but I say Islam just has to be wary of the explosiveness. I think Islam understands that Buckley's going to be explosive, because that's how Buckley is. He kind of explodes into punches, and I do think Buckley will pressure Islam. And the pressuring Islam, I feel like it's kind of foreign to Islam right now in his career, because Islam doesn't really get pressured by a lot of 155ers because they fear the takedown. But like Buckley, who's strong, like he's gonna fear the takedown, don't get me wrong, but he's physically strong to the point where if Islam shoots a bad takedown, he will get stuffed. So I said Islam must time his takedowns through strikes. You can't take down Buckley. It's not like Buckley's impossible to take down, but you got to mix up strikes behind it. If you Colby Covington Max, you go in there and you panic shoot, you're not going to take him down because he's too physically imposing for Islam Makhachev. He used to fight at 185. Like, this guy's a strong guy physically. Islam's going to need to use his striking and then mix it up. Kind of what he did to Dustin Poirier. Even though Poirier was stuffed, like, Poirier was really good defensively there. Like, Islam would mix in takedowns and go for takedowns against the fence. Sometimes Poirier would stuff it, but typically, like, you know, it'll work. That fight was interesting, man. That fight's interesting. But I do think he can take down Buckley through a mix of strikes, but it's not going to be easy. But I do think overall the IQ of Islam will give him the edge. Buckley is good, he's powerful, but similar to Burns, he doesn't really like to capitalize on Islam's mistakes. You kind of got to throw 3, 4, 5 punch combos. Buckley is a little bit more of like, I'll explode into like a 1-2 maybe, or overhand. I'm going to try to pressure you and explode. Like he did when he did to Wonderboy, it was really good because he pressured him against the fence and exploded. That's why I said Buckley must pressure Islam, because Islam's bad habit sometimes gets him pressed up against the fence and then like he'll drop down to a single leg. But if Buckley can like pressure him against the fence and try to throw his bomb, then it might work out effectively for him. But I don't think that's the best way to try to catch at Islam, who does lean back a little bit, because he's good at getting out the way enough to like miss a shot. Like, you're going to miss a shot. You're going to have to make an adjustment to try to land other shots, but that's just not in Buckley's fight style. So I really feel as if that's going to lead to Islam by decision or sub, because if he does get Buckley to the ground, Buckley might look like a cat, fish out of water off his back. Sometimes in middleweight, he did look a little bit confused when Imavov got him down, but Imavov's a little, yeah, it's just a different fight. Like, Buckley wasn't the same, I guess, at 185, but like I said here, I can see Islam winning this. It will be mid-diff. Out of every fight, this might be the most difficult to date. Him or Gary would be the most difficult fight so far that we went over. Because they're just interesting fights stylistically for him. But I still think, although Buckley gets a lot of praise, he's not as like dangerous for Islam as most people might think. Oh, Buckley just knocked out Wonderboy, dude. Yeah, man, Wonderboy's cowbunga, dude. He knocked out Wonderboy. He's chinning Islam. Brother, be careful what you say, brother. You know this is not true, and you know it's a fact. So I do think Islam's going to go in there and probably beat a Buckley by decision or sub. That's my honest prediction going into it. Now, we're in the top 5 welterweights on the planet, and number 5 is Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena. Chat, JDM, bro. Crooked nose aside, this is a really easy win for Islam just because he's better everywhere. I know people do the boxing, Kenny, dude. You're going to put the beats on Islam like Dr. Dre. Yo, shut your mouth. JDM's boxing could make it interesting. I'm not oblivious. JDM boxes kind of similar to he's like a Dustin. You guys know that kind of boxing style is not like heavily defensive, but it's like if I get you against the fence and you're shelling up, I really will put it on you. He's kind of like a Dustin Poirier style. Like, he throws kind of wide rangy hooks when he has you against the fence, but that's all because you're crumbling. Or like if you're Kevin Holland Max and trying to shoulder roll and like kind of staying in front of him, he will throw a lot of combos that will get you. He'll go low, 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 high. He's really good at mixing up there, but that style wouldn't work on Islam, I feel like, because Islam like gets out the way and doesn't really sit in front of you and just let you tee off on him. So I feel like that's like his boxing could make it interesting if he could back up and pressure Islam to that extent. But the thing about this is JDM can pressure a lot of guys who don't really have that takedown threat. He's not gonna be as inclined to pressure Islam Makhachev because Islam will just change levels and make him defend. And no offense, like every 170 I was kind of going through, like Buckley, Neal, they're strong physically. I'm not saying JDM's weak physically, but I do think Islam will have the strength advantage over a Jack Della Maddalena if he bulks up and gets up to 170 100%. He just physically stronger. He uses his size good. He uses his weight transfer well in the wrestling exchanges. He will definitely out grapple JDM. Like JDM getting mauled by Burns. Burns' wrestling's not all that anyways. It's really not. Like his BJJ is great, but his wrestling's not all that. I think Islam Makhachev's a better pure wrestler than Gilbert Burns. I do. So I really see Islam going in here and kind of mauling a JDM, and I have him by decision or sub. Like I do think he's gonna. When Burns was taking him down some of those rounds, he was kind of tired, so he's kind of just laying on him. Islam will actively chase the sub because he has good endurance. So this is gonna be low diff. This is actually the easiest fight I went through so far for Islam in this division. And this guy's top 5. I'm not trying to disrespect JDM. I know some of the fucking Laying Down Under fans are in my comments like, bro, don't disrespect us, bro. I don't. Did I just try to do an Australian accent? They'd be like, how the Australians talk? Alright, Mike Crocker, mate. Don't disrespect him. Alright, I'm not doing that shit again. But my point being said is I know you guys might get mad if you're a JDM fan about this, but stylistically, he has nothing for Islam. Just nothing, brother. Nothing, brother. Bring anything, brother. You know, maybe 2 people, maybe 2 JDMs competitive. He could be JDM, take an hour off, then another JDM walks into the octagon full energy. He beats him again. This is my opinion, brother. I'm not trying to hate on him. I just feel like Islam is superior out of the 2 of these guys. Now we're in the top 4. See, now every matchup I'm about to say next is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. In the number 4 spot, we got Kamaruddin Usman. Now, the striking would be interesting. Now, on paper, people probably say, yeah, man, I just feel as if, yeah, dude, I don't know. I just think Islam's striking is, and they're right. Like, Islam's striking on paper is better. But why I think it'll be interesting is because I know Kamaru will pressure Islam Makhachev. Honestly, if this fight was like 2020 prime Usman, I think Usman wins. I could say it full-heartedly. But Usman coming off this layoff is interesting. The Usman that fought Hamza, I also think could potentially beat Islam Makhachev just because how he fights. Like Islam, what's going to make the striking interesting, I know Islam likes to back up and throw that hook and like kind of lean out the way, but Usman will be on the pressure constantly. And Usman has a really good straight long jab, and I feel like his long arms might be a little bit of a surprise to Islam. Islam doesn't get jabbed much because he's so like reactive, but later in the rounds when Islam sets his feet a little bit more, that's when he starts kind of catching straight punches by like Dustin, like jabs by Volk and stuff like that. It just happens because I guess like when he sets his feet a little bit more, he's more susceptible to jabs. Now Usman's jab is like a power straight. You know, if Usman starts tagging up Islam, it could be a little bit frustrating. But I said Islam should implement his low kick and counter boxing because Usman isn't the most attractive boxer. Like, he doesn't punch pretty and he doesn't punch precisely. Like, he kind of just gets in the fray. Like, if he gets in the fray with you, he'll duck down, like uppercut you, clinch. He makes it really ugly, but it's effective. But I think Islam shouldn't play that game. Inevitably, Islam might have to be forced to play that game, like in the 4th, 5th round when he's tired and everyone's kind of setting their feet. But he shouldn't play that game early. He should just lean back and try to counterpunch him and just stick and move kind of thing. I said he should implement low kicks, but he is a southpaw going against an orthodox fighter, so it's kind of harder to tweak that low kick, which is why you see Islam not really throw much low kicks. Like he just doesn't really have a lead low kick in his arsenal because he's so heavy on his front leg, you know. So it's going to be hard to implement a low kick, but I think he should try because Usman's knees is fucking cooked. You should try to oblique kick him. But I said Usman's going to stay under pressure and create chaos. And when I say create chaos, I just mean like just that stupid stuff he does when he ducks down. Like what he's doing to Hamza, he was beating Hamza in those exchanges, you know. He beats all these guys in those exchanges. It's just weird. I said there will be scrambles because I do think they're going to wrestle, man. I think they will wrestle. Like, I really do think they will wrestle to an extent. I think the wrestling will actually be initiated by Usman. Usman will probably pressure him and then go for like a sloppy takedown that gets stuffed, but it's going to create scrambles and both guys might try to get the better of that. And it should be interesting. I think Islam might win a good amount of scrambles, not to like take him down, but like they scramble out of positions. But I did say 50-50 and it will go the distance, and I say it's going to be high difficulty. If I were to lean someone, I would lean Islam Makhachev via activity. Haven't seen anything from Usman. Like I said, if Usman shows up like the Hamza fight, maybe he beats him, but I don't know if he's going to show up like a Hamza fight. Yeah, he's been training with other people, but it's different when you're actually in there when you're training. So it's 50-50. We'll go the distance, high difficulty, but I will lean Islam Makhachev in this video. So that's my opinion. I like what I've seen from Islam lately is I've actually seen him lately. Like I've actually seen Islam lately. I haven't seen you in almost 2 years. So yeah, I'm gonna have to stick with Islam Makhachev for this fake. But it's like a 50-50. It's like a 50-50. All right, now we're in the top 3. I said everything from this point is gonna be hard, but I kind of lied. Number 3, I got Edwards, but I did say mid to high difficulty. Now I feel as if People think this fight's really easy for Islam because he's better everywhere, but it's not. And let me tell you why it's going to be more competitive than people think. And I said it's mid to high difficulty. Leon Edwards breaks to pressure mixed with striking and wrestling. Islam is not a heavy pressure fighter. If you haven't noticed, like Islam kind of takes turns adjusting on the front foot and the back foot. Leon Edwards fights perfectly fine like that. If you're gonna just like exchange front and back motion with Leon, he will low kick you and it will be a problem. And another thing about this that's concerning is that Islam's very heavy on his front leg. And people kick it. Like when Volk was kicking it, it was slipping up Islam, you know. Like people don't throw it much, but a lot of Russians and Dagestanis are very heavy on the front. Like specifically Islam is hugely heavy on it. Like Justin Gaethje kind of exploited that against Khabib a little bit, but Khabib just put crazy pressure to get him out. Khabib understood in the Justin Gaethje fight, if I didn't pressure this guy and try to get him out, my legs are cooked and I'm done. I would have lost. He knew that, you know. Islam, when he's getting kicked by Leon, he has to have that understanding. Like, listen, I can't be here getting kicked like this. Because Leon can fight like that for 25 minutes. He can. Like, Leon has no problem low kicking you and circling. He doesn't. And Islam, who's not heavy on the pressure, it could be concerning if he doesn't have the inklings and understandings to start to pressure when he's getting his leg compromised. Because once that leg is trash, there goes the wrestling. There goes a lot of stuff. There goes the movement that you use so desperately to get out the way, you know. But so it's going to be, I just said Islam needs to pressure and grapple. So I'll be real, Islam needs to make the adjustment here out of the two of them. I feel as if they both came in with the same style, it'd be very, very hard for Islam to win. So I think Islam can still win that fight that way, like just leaning back and trying to land stuff. But like, it'll be a lot more competitive than I guess you need to be. Whereas if Islam like starts to pressure and like starts to like a little, like not be as hesitant to get hit, then he'll do good. He needs to pressure with his striking and just mixing takedowns. It's not gonna be easy, but I do have Islam by decision or sub, mid to high difficulty. But I do think like people are seeing Leon get smoked by Brady and Bilal, and they're like, oh dude, Islam will smoke him, and Islam will beat him. But I just think people need to understand that it's going to be a little bit more competitive than you're probably anticipating as far as stylistic is concerned. Maybe Islam just goes in there and just has crazy pressure for the first time, and he's been great at pressuring. I don't know. But like from what I've seen from Islam, it's just not his bread and butter. But like I said, Islam's still by mid to high difficulty. It'll be mid difficulty if he can impose the pressure and grappling. It's going to be really high difficulty if he just tries to fight like how he traditionally does, because Leon could just kind of low kick and circle and just compromise that front leg, and then it could be a bad night for Islam Makhachev. But I still got Islam beating Leon Edwards. Leon's not as bad as people make him out to be. It's just that the guys who beat him is really good. So yeah, now we're in the top two. And it's Shafka Rakov. This has been difficult. It's not going to be as hard as the Leon Edwards fight, but Islam is better everywhere. Islam will use his counters heavy because Shafka is the kind of guy who does pressure forward sometimes. Against the Ian Gary fight, he was almost like panicking at range because like Ian was kind of piecing him apart, so he would like clinch him and kind of hold him there. Like the thing about this is if you're losing the striking to Islam and you're trying to like clinch him and hold him against the fence, he will lateral drop you, he'll trip you, he'll whizzer you, he'll get out that position. He's really good at scrambling. So I said he's gonna out scramble Shafka. If Shafka isn't liking the striking and like he can't find his target on Islam and Islam just landing and getting out, he's gonna get frustrated. He's gonna start to pressure and try to clinch him, and then he's gonna get out scrambled, get reversed, get taken down, and it's just gonna be kind of I'm not gonna say easy night for Islam, but Islam beats Shafka easier than Leon and easier than a lot of other people. You know, I feel like people think this fight's harder than for Islam than it really is. I got Islam by decision. I said mid difficulty. I don't know if he's going to finish Shafka. I think Shafka, maybe by submission, but I think Shafka could defend it intelligently enough to survive when he gets taken down. I don't think he might get TKO. He has a pretty solid chin. You know, Islam doesn't really sit down on his punches that much. You know, so I do got Islam by decision. Mid difficulty. Shafka's not as hard as some people think he is. This is what I think, brother. You know, this is my opinion, brother. Don't get mad at me, brother. You know, Shafka, he good, brother. But against Islam, brother, who give him? We have to check this moment. Real bad, man. All right, now the next two fights, you're gonna see the result, but you got to listen to what I'm gonna say. All right, number one, Shawn Brady. As you can see in the bottom, it says 60-40 leading Brady. Let me explain why I said that. Now, this is just based off stuff I've seen so far. You know, if Islam's next fight happens, it could change. You know, Shawn Brady had the most recent fight, so I gained a lot of data from him. In contrast to Islam, who fought like Moicano last, and it's just hard to grasp a lot from that fight. But I said striking would be harder for Islam than a lot of other people. So I feel as if Brady does a good job with pressuring, which could be Islam's kryptonite, as well as like quadrupling punches. Like I said, to beat Islam, you need to like have some kind of pressure about you, and you need to not just throw one punch at a time like these Burns and these Buckleys and like these guys like these Jeff Neals. You need to kind of combo. Now that's what Shawn Brady does really well. And Shawn Brady, isn't worried about getting countered. Like I said, I feel like Islam should try to use his counter here a lot. But like I said, like if you guys remember in the Leon Edwards fight, he had some sharp counters, specifically elbows that Brady was running into, but it was like he was eating the shots. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, but Kenny, Brady got chinned by Bilal, but he didn't get chinned by Bilal. Brady's chin's actually really good. Like I feel like people don't understand. Like in most of the counters that Leon hit him with, I feel like people would get rocked or stumbled or at least or knocked out by it. I'm not trolling, but he would just get pressured, get hit with a hit shot, and keep running. So like Islam Makhachev, who does lean back and throw that hook, even if it catches Brady, he's still going to be in the midst of throwing his combo. He's not really going to stop his combo just because he got hit, which is kind of is a good thing and a bad thing because it can put you in bad shots and bad spots. But Islam doesn't really have that one hitter quitter to a point where I think it would phase a Shawn Brady. So I do think the striking will be a little bit hard for Islam to have an adjustment period to, because Shawn Brady will kind of get all his punches that he gets hit with. He might just absorb it and run forward. But I did also say the size advantage could be concerning. So yeah, you guys got to know, this is actually the biggest welterweight on roster, like size-wise. Like how he rehydrates, no other welterweight that I've seen so far has got as big as him. Not even a Buckley, bro. Buckley's known to, I know Buckley fought at 185, but at 170, I don't really know his walk-around weight, but 198 is not as big as his fight weight is. It's not as big as that. Like Buckley's a little bit, he leans out a little bit at 170. Whereas Shawn Brady getting up to 198, almost 200 pounds is like, is very, I don't want to say concerning, but it's very alarming. Like I don't know why he's so big for that weight class. He's definitely going to go up to 185 when he wins the 170 belt. I already said, but Brady's a future champion. I said it before before the fight with Gilbert Burns. When I come back to this video when Shawn Brady wins, people are saying I'm weird. Like, how do you think Shawn Brady's a future champion? He just lost to Bilal. But I just seen something in Brady that I knew he was going to be a problem. So I do think the size the reason the size might be concerning is because if Islam is having trouble with the striking, the pressure, and the accumulation of strikes on the feet, and he tries to wrestle, it's not going to be as easy as like, let me just wrestle and take down Brady and like start to take my breath, because Brady will be working actively. I'm not saying he can't take down Brady. Sure he can, but it's going to be a constant, like, you're not really going to get a resting period even trying to wrestle or clinch or Brady. This is my opinion. I really think Islam can't let Brady control the pressure and pace. So if he sees Brady doing this, he has to make a commitment of sitting down in his punches a little bit more, mixing and clinch. He's got to do something to get Brady off him. I feel like right now, that's why I'm saying 60-40 leaning Brady, because right now I'm having a hard time looking at Islam's style specifically and thinking he smokes a Brady stylistically. Though I'm not saying like it's 100% Brady. Islam actually could easily win this fight, 100% easily win this fight. It's just that right now I guess I have a hard time seeing what Islam's go-to would be. I do think on paper Islam's striking is a lot better. There could be a world where Islam just pieces him up on the feet, but the only time I've ever seen Shawn Brady severely slack in the striking was the second round in the Bilal fight, where he got TKO'd. But ultimately, I feel like he got TKO'd due to the pressure, the absurd pressure from Bilal. And like I said, Islam doesn't really fight with that pressure, So I feel like looking at it objectively from a stylistic point of view, I have a hard time saying Islam would cook him. Whereas I have an easier time saying I would lean Shawn Brady. I just feel like Shawn Brady would have a better chance at beating him than vice versa. That being said, I want to see a little bit more Islam fight. Like I want to see Islam fight once more, because his recent fight with Makhachev was like, it's hard to grab. Nothing really, like on the feet, Islam looked fine. Like he was striking, he was moving. And people said he looked bad on the feet there. He didn't look bad on the feet. I rewatched that fight on stream the other day. He looked good. Like he looked fine. I know he was having some moments where he slipped, but that was just off balance stuff, But it's just the striking would be. I guess I want to see the striking. I might be overestimating Brady's ability to pressure, but that's how he fights. But like maybe like Islam would deal with that easily. Like I said, I haven't seen enough of Islam against pressure fighters, because he hasn't really won against a pressure striker. The only one he went against who was a crazy pressure striker was I guess you could say Charles Oliveira. But Charles Oliveira doesn't pressure the same as Shawn Brady or like Bilal Muhammad or like Kamaru Usman. Like what Charles does is like he'll high guard and then he'll jump into a flying knee. Like he puts himself in weird positions, like out of position, and that's why he gets caught with stuff. It's weird. I don't know what there's effective pressure and then there's like hillbilly pressure. Like brother, what was he doing? But yeah, I do think 60-40. I am going to lean Brady, but I still can acknowledge it's going to be a very hard fight for both guys, especially Brady as well. Like Brady's going to have to work like harder than he's ever worked, because I don't think you can't break Islam. You're not going to break Islam with pressure. I always think back. I think back to the Umar Merab fight. This could be very similar to Umar and Merab, where he's Umar and he's Merab, and I thought Umar won that fight 1, 2, and 3. So Islam could steal early rounds on Brady and win 1, 2, and 3, whereas Brady wins like 4 and 5. But it's just like a pressure guy. But then again, I do think Brady's a little bit better than Merab at like striking and things, but in grappling, because Merab doesn't really have a finishing threat, does he? Yeah, this will be a little bit harder than that, but I could see it being very similar to Umar Merab, where Islam striking steals in rounds, and Yeah, but like I said, we'll see this fight goes. Like, I know the Islam fans are gonna hate me for this one, but I'll probably lean Brady if as of right now. This is my honest opinion, brother. And I do like Islam more, so that, like, it doesn't hurt me to say this because I like Brady as well. But I'm just honestly speaking, brother. No, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry if I offended you. All right, of course, now the champion. Now this fight's a 50-50. This is gonna sound weird, but stylistically, I rate Brady's chance more at beating Islam than Bilal. I'm gonna be honest. I said similar to the Brady situation with like the pressure and all that stuff, but Bilal isn't as big as Brady. Bilal walks around at 190. Brady walks around at like 200, but his rehydration weight's 198. I'm assuming Bilal walks around at 190, but his rehydration weight's around like 188, 187, something like that. But either way, he's just like on fight night. Brady has like 10 pounds, 12 pounds more than Bilal. I know Bilal's gonna be a little bit heavier and probably a little bit stronger than Islam, but he's not gonna be as drastic as the Brady fight. I just want to clarify that. I did say Islam will have an easier time striking with Bilal. I know people are gonna be like, Kenny, that makes no sense because Bilal finished Brady on the feet. You guys got to rewatch Bilal versus Brady, the first round specifically, like in the adjustments Bilal had to make. Bilal was trying to go strike for strike, like skill for skill for him, and he was getting destroyed. And once Bilal was like, okay, this guy's a better striker than me, and Bilal didn't shoot a single takedown against Brady because he understood the takedown threat, the grappling threat of Brady, but Brady was shooting takedowns on Bilal. It just kind of showed that Bilal understood that fight with Brady. He was like, I'm not going to beat Brady by striking with him, like trying to go point fight striking with him because he's going to outstrike me. I can't wrestle Brady because he's too dangerous. So I'm going to just put an absurd pace on Brady and see if he can handle it. Brady couldn't handle it. He couldn't. So I do think Islam's going to have an easier time striking than he would against Brady because I feel like Bilal's striking kind of consists of a body kick and like a little bit of punching. And the reason I feel like you have an easier time, because I've noticed a trend about Bilal when he's going against good grapplers, he doesn't shoot. He didn't shoot against like Burns a lot. He didn't shoot against Brady at all. He was so like insistent on I'm not grappling with Brady. Every time Brady was shooting, he would damn near like run off and push out. Like he was not trying to grapple. So Bilal's not a huge grappler against great grapplers. I'm not saying he's not going to grapple against Islam. I think he should and he needs to if he wants to win. But I think both guys should mix it up. I said Islam should mix it up and Bilal should mix it up. It'll be competitive in that sense. The only problem with this fight is just like I said, the pressure. I haven't seen Islam deal with pressure. And Bilal's going to definitely bring the pressure. Like, Bilal's not going to get tired. Khabib himself in the camp said, I don't want to see this fight. But honestly, about Bilal, you have to finish this guy to beat him. So Khabib understands that you probably got to get Bilal out of there to be able to beat him as of right now. And can Islam get him out of there? It's a chance. There's a chance you can get him out of there. Maybe with you could catch him on the feet or something or take him. I don't know about submission, but you never know. It's going to be a hard fight. That's why I said 50-50. But I'd probably lean Bilal just via size and just a little bit of discrepancy. But Islam is, I don't know, I'm saying leaning Bilal, but I could definitely see Islam beating Bilal. It would just be a really hard fight for Islam, given the situations about like the pressure. I wish it had a better example of Islam getting pressured by a strong wrestler. But that's just not it. The only the really good wrestler he went against was Arman when he was young, but Arman is not a huge pressure mongrel. He's not a pressure mongrel. So it's just hard to. I guess the biggest question mark about welterweight and Islam is how he does with the pressure. If Islam passes the pressure test, guess what, chat? He destroys Brady and he destroys Bilal. That's the truth. So it really comes down to how Islam can deal with pressure and how he reacts to pressure, and if he doesn't fold to pressure. If is it going to be like an Umar Marab situation where the pressure eventually gets to him? I know Dagestanis are talented, but the only times I've seen Dagestani struggle, Usman Nurmagomedov, Umar Nurmagomedov, these high class ones is when they get pressured. They don't like that. As far as when the fight goes along, I do think Islam's a better level than Umar and Usman, but it's just like I need to see how he does against the pressure, specifically against Brady and Bilal, who are the two best pressures. The Usman pressure is going to be insistent, but he's a little bit older, and Bilal's a little bit older as well. But this fight's interesting. I said 50-50. I am going to lean Bilal, but like I said, my dream only is for Islam to become double champ. I hope people know this, brother. This is what I think, brother. I want this guy to become double champ a little bit, flaunt 2 belts, maybe dance, this is what I want. This is what I want. So we're going to have to see what happens. I hope he goes up, man, because there's so much going on 155. I'm not saying just avoid the division 155, but, bro, if all you guys are just fighting over who's going to get the belt, give them an interim title shot. Islam can still hold the undisputed belt. Then when he moves up, then he could beat Bilal or JDM, whoever, and then he could hold 2 belts. This is my dream for Islam. I need Islam to become the greatest of all time. This is my goal, brother. This is my goal. This is our goal, because me and Islam in this together, bro. Our goal is to go in there, brother, be double champ and be a real bad man. Dale, brother. But these are my opinions. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm sure people are gonna have like opposing takes with the Brady and Bilal situation, but let me know why you think that specifically down below. That's it for me, and God bless. 2, 3, 4.